CNN Newsstand with anchors Stephen Frazier and Carol Lynn in Atlanta.
Kenneth Coleman, on the right, is Senior Vice President at Silicon Graphics. Coleman's undergraduate degree in engineering and his master's degree in business administration provide an educational pedigree that is prized in Silicon Valley.
Then you can see how
his 12 years here and 10 earlier years at Hewlett-Packard, with time in between at a startup, are the perfect Valley resume.
Okay. I think there are 3 issues that we have, and they're not about strategy.
All that has propelled him into senior management, in charge of global sales and marketing, in charge of 4,000 people, $2.7 billion in annual revenue, and all the relationships Silicon Graphics has with customers.
I know I can recreate growth for this company. I've been very successful by all measures. And I'm not complaining, I'm quite happy. On the other hand, you asked me the question, Ken, do you believe if you were a white American, given your abilities, your experience, your education, your talents, would you be a CEO today? The answer is absolutely yes. I'd be a CEO.
A chief executive officer, the boss. Could it be Silicon Valley overlooked him because of his race? Would you say that there's any kind of overt discrimination here?
You're looking at more illegal aliens occupying United States territory by the year 2025 than there will be legal citizen voters.
This is Jim Gilchrist.
Why in damn hell are those laws not being enforced?
Exactly.
Just scoot away enough dirt, 12 inches of dirt, you can literally crawl through here.
Gilchrist first made headlines 2 years ago when his organization, the Minuteman Project, started patrolling the Mexican border.
In 10 days, we shut down an entire 23-mile stretch of Arizona-Mexico border, 100%.
Critics call them vigilantes.
Joining me now live from Tulsa, Oklahoma, Jim Gilchrist. So how do you respond to the charge by groups like the Southern Poverty Law Center that the rhetoric of the Minutemen is fanning the flames of these hate groups?
Good morning, good morning.
It's Sunday.
And let us give thanks to the Lord our God.
And Father Gary New is working his first Mass of the day at St. Mary's Church in rural Wisconsin.
Well, needless to say, the priest and the people were shocked and then overwhelmed with joy.
And when he's done here, Father Gary jumps out of his vestments and into his car and heads to the next Mass just 30 minutes from now in another town down the road.
It's unusual, yeah. You have to be almost like a circuit rider. And so on Saturday we do two different churches, and on Sunday we do 2 different churches.
You see, Father Gary is the pastor of 6 Catholic parishes in a 25-mile radius around the small town of Chilton, which is not far from Green Bay.
Through him, with him, in the unity of the Holy Spirit.
He and one other priest must say every Mass and administer the other sacraments at every church in the area. 17% of parishes across the country don't have a priest because of the shortage. Some churches are closing their doors forever.
Is intended to be the new living room for Kansas City.
They're not just dreaming up new buildings here at the Jurdy Architecture Company. They're trying to recreate the modern city.
Out again and back in again and back out again.
Meanwhile, the man behind this $30 million private business, a 59-year-old architect named John Jurdy, is meeting with his creative team to discuss an enormous development in Singapore.
Is there any way that we can take the road and actually have it go up and down and up and down? So
Once again, trying to jumpstart a local economy by building a glitzy shopping area.
It's almost like having an old car you'd find in a barn that hasn't been started for decades, and you figure out a way to reconstruct it and turn the starter engine, and boom, it comes back to life. Well, I've done that with cities, and you can take burnout cities and start them back up again, and it's a very exciting and rewarding thing.
Jurdy says it's been rewarding for Atlanta, where he built Centennial Olympic Park in 1996. 35 million people came here in its first year, and backers say the economic spillover effect has helped the entire city.
Thing is that we do this, the tent, but the 15 by 15 is kind of small for.
The taller man is Tom Krenz with Italian painter Francesco Clemente, whose works are on exhibit at the Guggenheim right now. This, though, is months ago in Clemente's New York City studio, as Krenz selected paintings with show curator Lisa Dennison.
The flower one we're talking about.
Yeah, the flower one.
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
We always talk about that.
Now that they're on exhibit, Clemente's works are attracting huge crowds. But no painting has ever brought as many museum goers to the Guggenheim's famous Spiral Gallery as a show of motorcycles 1 year ago.
It's 140 motorcycles on the sacred Frank Lloyd Wright ramp of the Guggenheim Museum, and the entire museum clad in stainless steel by Frank Gehry on the inside. That's not subtle. I mean, you know.
The longer lines stretched, usually around the block, the more shocked and appalled critics got. Some said Krenz was pandering to lowbrow tastes.
And so what's the criticism? You profaned the space?
I don't think there's any criticism anymore.
Yes, there is.
The trouble with the Guggenheim is this emphasis on achieving and maintaining a high profile over the kinds of things that museums are really supposed to be focusing on.
Eric Gibson, who reports on art and culture for the Wall Street Journal, says Krenz is dumbing down art.